Tupelo Smiles is a top-notch group. They're very compassionate about what they do. They've given me the smile that I've always wanted. I've been a patient for 15 years and I wouldn't go anywhere else. I just love Tupelo Smiles.
At Room to Room, did you know our specialty is custom ordered upholstery? Get the furniture you want and the fabric and color selection you want. With our free design service, we won't let you make a mistake.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Good evening and welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 6. It's been a calm day filled with sunny skies, exactly what we want as we wrap up our work week, right? Well, our Chief Meteorologist Matt Lobhon joining us here in a moment. My name is Meteorologist Gabe Maynor, and you are here for Mississippi Live Weather at 6. Going to be an enjoyable forecast. Excited to track this one out. Let's go ahead and get into those details. And again, headlines going to be big one right off the top is, of course, Pink Out Night at Northeast. Our Chief Meteorologist Matt Lobhon, like I mentioned, joining us out there at Northeast for their final game of the regular season. An exciting time up there as Pink Out Night is in full effect as well. Frost advisory is in place for some. Is your county included? We'll have a full breakdown of where those advisories are in place and who can expect those cold conditions. And our last headline is our mostly dry weekend ahead. Mostly the keyword, because there are the chance, at least a few showers moving in on our Saturday. We'll break that down here county by county coming up here in just a minute. So looking at the first 12 here in the Room to Room Weather Center, you can see that it is 53 degrees around 7 o'clock, dropping to 45 by 10, 43 by 1, and that gradual cooling trend takes place all the way into tomorrow morning. Let's take a look at that 7 a.m. temperature, 39 degrees. Is that cold enough for you? I know it is for me. I always wanted cold weather, but not exactly, freezing. Right above that threshold is a perfect mark for me, and I'm happy, very happy to see 39 back in that forecast, and I hope you guys are as well. Again, this is a fantastic night. As we take a look at Mississippi Live Weather Radar, dry across the region, and that's where our Chief Meteorologist Matt Lobhon will join us live there in Boonville for the very latest. Matt, what are conditions like for you? We know it's dry, but just how dry are we talking?
Enough here that the band behind me is not worried about getting their instruments wet. That's for sure, as we are clear, and I'm not quite marching in time with them as well. Of course, we're here on the Northeast campus. They're getting ready to play their game against Copiah Lincoln here. Kickoff just under an hour, the home closer of the year. They've had some festivities going on here, including the tent or treat a little earlier. I got to judge a costume contest, and believe it or not, the Cloud and Lightning did not win. It was actually a Starbucks that won. Starbucks and the drink. The baby was the drink. So cute. Anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna get out of the Northeast band and let them do their actual thing here for a moment. But yeah, it's a beautiful night. It is a little cool, as you mentioned. In fact, you said frost advisory for some. That's not shocking. I'm on the furry outfit here, despite it's supposed to be a pink out here for the game. I think I'm not going to be alone for those folks that may be doing some early trick-or-treating tonight. And certainly, Gabe, I think by true trick-or-treating time tomorrow, it's going to be even cooler, or at least as cold as tonight. We could actually, though, I think probably have a lot of spots where kids are double layering for sure.
For sure, depending on the costume, of course. But I do want to say that
yes.
I'm grateful this year because we don't have our little one here just yet. So we don't have to go trick-or-treating this year. Next year, if we can warm things up a little bit.
Go.
Do what?
Don't get to go.
Don't get to go. You're right. Well,
you said no, you said you have to. It's the whole get to not have to.
I'm excited for it. I am. But whenever we're talking about 39 degrees, ooh, that's going to be a cold forecast.
Yeah, you've got some of those chilly ones on the way, that's for sure.
Did you guys ever decide Penny and Leo's costume? I'm curious.
So, Penny was going to be Ginny Weasley from, Harry Potter, and then this morning apparently decided not to at the last second. And Leo doesn't like Halloween. He got really, really scared a few years ago, and because of that, he's not big into it. So I had him convinced last night to be a soccer player with his own name on, using a soccer jersey. I'm like, you can be yourself and a soccer player. And this morning he bailed as well. So we will see if with candy on the line tomorrow, what they end up with.
It makes a difference. I know it did for me as a kid, for sure.
Yeah, when the candy's, within grasping distance, if you dress up, you get it together.
And there's going to be a lot of candy houses going to be going, and we are excited to be at our game of the week over there in Eupora. So hopefully there's some trick-or-treating spots because, hey, we might drop by and pick up some candy ourselves, right? Dressed as meteorologists.
I mean, we're not going to turn down candy, right?
For sure. For sure. Well, Matt, thank you for joining us. And of course, we'll touch base with you here in a little bit, maybe in the stadium, getting a look at what the game is looking like pregame. And of course, just have fun out there and maybe get a ribbon for some pink out. And then you can stay warm and be repping the pink.
So I have a button. It just, in the mad dash, we got on a minute or two late because we were trying to get the drone up. I was trying to get it live and talking through the drone. That didn't work. So I got to put my pink out button on here in a minute, grab my burger. Now I'm going to head over to the game.
That sounds like a solid plan, and we will join you here in just a bit with the burger in hand and the button on the chest. So we'll see you here in just a bit, Matt. Let's bring it back here into the Room to Room Weather Center. And of course, we are tracking those dry conditions like we mentioned. Mississippi Live Weather Radar staying just as calm as can be, and definitely a better sight than what we were tracking this time yesterday or the day before. I mean, it's been a soggy forecast all week long. As you look at some of those rainfall totals, we're talking about some higher totals out there towards northwest Mississippi, 2.9 inches. Some areas actually got up to 3. Boonville, where Matt is at, just under an inch. And so, fortunately, that forecast is not in place today. And then we jump out there towards Calhoun County, 1.5 inches. Chula, closer to just over an inch, and then just under an inch right along Highway 82 there towards Cleveland. So, summary, it's been wet, but now a much drier forecast is in place and will continue to do so. Perfect timing for those football games and perfect timing for our forecast for Halloween. As you look at the past 12 hours, rainfall totals, nothing. And that's such a good sign. I mean, just leave it on there for a second. If we expand things out, we can see a little bit of that rainfall. Actually, we'll have to expand it way out. Some of that rainfall over there towards Tennessee, Kentucky, and on there towards Ohio. Far away from here. Woo! Just say a little cheer for it because we are excited. And the one good thing with this rainfall is, of course, alleviating some of those drought conditions. Level 3 drought still in place for Lafayette, Panola, up there towards Tate County, and down there around Grenada, Yalobusha, and Calhoun. So some folks still dealing with it, but the good thing is that we have seen that level 4 drought recede just a bit towards Tuscaloosa County, Pickens County looking much better, and level 1 drought showing up with some breaks as well. Just north of Fulton, we're talking about a little bit of a break with normal conditions, and same thing towards Hollandale, all the way towards Chula and southern Natala County. Another week on top. You guys have prevailed all dry season long. So hopefully you guys can keep that streak going with this dry pattern we have ahead. But I think we'll all be okay for the most part heading into the next week. As we look at our surface analysis, of course, expanding this out just a bit more, we can walk through that forecast just a bit of what to expect going forward. So this low, this is what provided us with those rain chances, now pushing more towards the northeast, towards New York, Vermont, New Hampshire. Down here, we're dry as can be, and this forecast with high pressure really dominating our area. This, of course, having those northwesterly winds cycling here into north Mississippi, should I say. Northwest was just on my mind. And that's how it'll be until that cold front moves closer to our region. And that cold front is actually going to be the big driver moving forward. This, of course, bringing some light. I'm going to put light to emphasize it. And of course, that's light rain, not just light. So light rain moving into the forecast beyond that front, and that will be what we can expect for our Saturday. Unfortunate, because I know there are football games in place, but hey, we're never turning down at least a little bit more rainfall. Let's track that out on Futurecast, and you can see that front, not exactly a strong front, so it's not going to be dominating our forecast all day Saturday, but at least giving us a few pop-up showers. But for the most part, up until that point, dry, clear, everything you want it to be as we get into the end of our work week. So Friday morning, heading out the door, if you're like my wife and you're leaving about 6 to 7 o'clock, it's a cold one. I always walk her out and I'm, kind of dressing for the weather for that short time frame. And today was sweatshirt and shorts. I think tomorrow's sweatshirt, sweatpants, maybe with a long sleeve underneath to accommodate for it all. But it's going to be a time where you need to stay bundled up and stay warm. I just dress like that because it's only a short time frame. If I was out there for a long period of time, trust me, I'd have 2, maybe even 3 layers on top of it. 9 a.m. on your Friday, those conditions warming up due to how much sunshine is in the region, but winds becoming much lighter. And so those breezy conditions we had today, not exactly going to be in place for our forecast on Friday. Things trending in the right direction. Sunshine all day long. That's a great outlook for our Halloween, our trick-or-treating forecast. One of the things we'll be talking about here in the next 60 will be that trick-or-treating forecast, but 64 degrees by the afternoon is definitely something to look forward to, especially considering we're talking about frost for some locations during our Friday morning. We'll track where those frosty locations are at, as well as our trick-or-treating forecast. And did someone say football? Well, if you didn't, I will. Football is in session heading into our Friday and Saturday. We'll have a look at high school and college football forecast here from the Room to Room Weather Center on Mississippi Live Weather at 6 in the next 60.
At First Choice Bank, we know you can't always make it before the bank closes. With our integrated teller, you can talk to a live person as late as 7 p.m. on weekdays and noon on Saturdays. It's not just an ATM, it's an ITM. First Choice Bank, your choice for banking.
Hey, you there! Ever try to do something in under 6 minutes? Anything, like say, grow a beard. I bet you can. At Sweet Pepper's Deli, you get quality food in under 6 minutes. Now how about that? Sweet Pepper's Deli, life is sweet.
You need some help?
Your tow chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
"57 degrees on the eve of Halloween." Yes, we are into our spooky season right around the corner, and we are in for quite a good forecast with that. Before we get there, though, cool conditions are in place. Already seeing those temperatures start to drop, but it is dry, and that's what matters, especially when it comes to our football forecast. Chief Meteorologist Matt Laupon has button in place, burger in hand, and joining us live out in the field in Northeast for their final football game of the regular season.
Yeah, and hopefully you'll have that forecast as we wrap this up here in a minute. But you can see behind me here, the sun is down. We got that beautiful glow that, again, a week from now you wouldn't see. I didn't make it quite across the crosswalk in time to get you over to the stadium. Had to make sure the drone was all buttoned up. Had to make sure I went back for the burger there. And if you're going to be out this evening, you probably need to make sure you might even have a layer beyond what I have going on here as well. I mean, you can see the kids behind me, college students. They have enough of a layer there as well because it's going to be a little bit chilly. I got a little runny nose going on here, so I'm going to have to clean that up as well. But it is a cool evening, and we are talking about near frost conditions for some spots by early tomorrow morning. In fact, we do have a frost advisory in effect for a few locations, so we expect it to be chilly. But I'm here in Booneville, Northeast's final game of their football season here against Copiah Lincoln, hoping for a big win. We appreciate the good folks at Northeast Mississippi Community College who have been partners with us so far on this Mississippi Live weather journey. Gabe, if you have that forecast, you can hit that augmented reality button, pop that over top of me here, and we'll give that forecast here for the Northeast game as we look into the evening, because as you can see on the Alabama side, that's where we have that frost advisory in effect there for Pickens, Lamar, Marion, and Franklin counties, as it is definitely going to be a chilly start to the morning tomorrow, right? There's that Northeast forecast. As you can see, looking there at, again, appreciate everyone for downloading the Mississippi Live Weather app. But as we go into and through the evening, we expect those temperatures. I know, we went right past it. Sorry.
Technology. Gotta love it.
We're going to get it. Well, as soon as I wrapped it up a second ago, I took a bite of food. So at least you're not on me right now while I'm trying to chew and talk, do all the things we tell our kids never to do. But yeah, look at that. Halftime temperature at 47 and final snap at 44. It is not going to be warm. In fact, we expect a little bit of a wind chill that slices off an additional about 5 degrees or so for some of those temperatures. So yeah, that means by the conclusion of this game, it's probably going to feel like the upper 30s. So Gabe, as we bring it back here outside to the Northeast campus, you see me walking away from the stadium again. I have an extra layer of a jacket. I've decided I'm going back for that as well. I like the fact that I had the pink and also this fluffy Northeast colored pullover here that I had. And I was like, I'm going to rep that. Nope. I'm going to instead go for not sick. So I'm going to add one more layer on top of this.
Snow is definitely going to be very prominent tonight, so that's why we say stay warm. We're in that time of year where things are definitely transitioning to more of that cold forecast, so we'll keep you updated here, but yeah, frosty conditions are definitely in place. As we look at that, our Alabama counties continue to be under that frost advisory. As you get a look right there with those shades of blue, that's going to be Lamar County, Pickens County, Marion County, and up there towards Franklin County. This is in place until 9 a.m. on our Friday, and that's due to those cold conditions to start out the day. Now, you could have argued that some of our North Mississippi counties could have been under that same frost advisory. Well, the National Weather Service did not warrant it, but still go ahead and prepare. I know as soon as I get home from work, I'm going to lay something out over the plants that are in my vegetable garden to make sure they stay warm overnight, because I don't want all that hard work to go to waste, right? Well, temperatures right now already cooling off. 55 degrees in Booneville, where Matt is at. 57 in Tupelo, like we discussed a moment ago. 54 Red Bay, and of course 58 out there towards Cleveland. If we look at those temperatures across the region, we can see that cooler air out there towards Alabama. So more than likely, this is the reason why frost advisories were issued, is because they are trending just slightly cooler than where we are sitting at. And every degree matters whenever it comes to those frost advisories, and in the future, those freeze warnings. So that's really going to be the big deciding factor, is where things sit currently and how things are going to trend into those overnight hours. Whenever we look at that forecast, at Mississippi Live Weather Radar, you can see dry conditions are in place due to high pressure. But action is coming, and that is in the form of this cold front out there towards Kansas and Nebraska, inching closer to North Mississippi and giving us some isolated light showers in our Saturday forecast. As we take a look at that dog walking forecast, took the pups on a walk today because, hey, why not? It's dry enough to. But when I did so, I made sure to layer up, and that was in the middle of the afternoon. So if you're looking to do so as well during those evening hours, or just taking them outside to, use the restroom, 49 degrees by 8, 45 by 10, and 43 by midnight. Clear conditions all night long, though, and that's what's allowing this cooling trend to take place. And of course, that'll be in our forecast well into the weekend as well. Futurecast, let's go ahead and walk through it. We've been talking a lot about it. Now let's see the evidence behind the forecast. As you can see, dry conditions and clear skies remain in the forecast by 10 p.m. So wrapping up that northeast game, going to be on the cooler side of things. Heat definitely going to be cranked for a lot of those cars exiting the parking lot. 2 a.m. still with those mostly clear conditions. So we get into our Friday morning, and that's really going to be, again, the big driver in our forecast is just going to be how clear things are, allowing that heat to escape and leaving us with a very cold atmosphere here on the surface in North Mississippi. Low temperatures, yes, we talked about it being cold. We're talking 37 Grenada, 37 Water Valley, and 39 Holly Springs. But out east, this is the difference we're talking about whenever it comes to those frost advisories being warranted. 34 in Hamilton, 35 in Vernon. Those just a little bit cooler than what we're getting here, even on the other side of the state line. 38 in Amory, 38 in Columbus. So that 3 to 4 degree temperature change definitely could be the result of some frost or not frost. But I mean, it's still 30s. That's enough for enough cold weather to warrant at least a few of those frost advisories, so make sure to prepare. A viewer just told me, because again, not a gardening expert, so I appreciate any advice that you guys have if you want to drop it in chat. But let me actually look, because they just sent it in so I can pull up the name. This was Terry. They mentioned it to me, saying that you can lay a sheet out to cover the plants, but by the morning, make sure to take it off, because if it sits there with the heating of the day taking place, we're talking about 63 degrees by that final bell tomorrow, that's enough of heating to where we could burn up those plants. Yeah, realistic possibility whenever you lay a blanket on. Imagine, wearing a blanket in the middle of summer. Would that be enjoyable for you? It's not enjoyable for the plants either. So that's a good piece of advice. And any other advice you guys may have, please let me know. Not an expert gardener. I'm as amateur gets. As we keep our Futurecast going into our Friday, of course, staying with those cooler conditions by the morning, but sunshine throughout the day will warm our atmosphere up. And by the afternoon, we're reaching well into the 60s once again, like we saw on that school day forecast. So yes, needing the layers towards the morning. Probably could get away with one of the layers being shed by the afternoon. 3 p.m. still staying mostly clear, and that's the beautiful part of this forecast. Yes, it is cold, but if this is the trade-off that we have to get for dry air, hey, I will take it for sure, especially on a Friday night where we are in the final week of our high school football season. But moisture moving into the forecast could result in some partly cloudy conditions up there towards DeSoto and Tunica County. Let's go ahead and look at that high temperature forecast for our Friday. 64 Cleveland, 66 around Greenville. and 65 towards Bruce. Out east, we are talking 62 in Hamilton and 65 around Aliceville, so things warm up nicely by the afternoon, despite it being a cooler start to the day. Trick-or-treating forecast, I know it's going to be action-packed here in Tupelo, all across North Mississippi, as houses are primed and ready. Manor household excited to see some visitors and give you guys some candy. But yeah, it's going to be a good time. 62 degrees by 5 p.m., 55 there by 7, and 47 degrees by 9 p.m. for those late-night trick-or-treaters. I remember growing up, we would purposefully stay out as long as possible. 10 o'clock at times. Granted, houses were asleep by then, but there was the occasional house that just had leftover candy. And you're like, you know what? Here, take it. I don't want all this candy. Best thing I've ever done, but at least trick-or-treating wise. And so it's a great thing to do. Highly recommend, but layer up if you're going to do that, because you see 47 degrees by 9 will be a pretty cool forecast. And as we track that Friday evening forecast, our high school game of the week presented by Casey Lott, showing us that it's going to be a cool pregame as well, 60 degrees, but getting cooler as the game goes on, 45 towards that final snap. Clouds building as the game goes on. That's expected as that moisture returns to the forecast due to that cold front. Futurecast showing us exactly that. And I'm going to go ahead and expand things out to really show you what's taking place. So this is 8 p.m. on your Friday with some of that cloud cover building in along eastern portions of Arkansas. We keep that going into 10 p.m. and into those overnight hours, and thin clouds already moving back into North Mississippi. Then you're getting some moisture back in the forecast and could be resulting in a few light showers towards our Saturday morning commute. There you're seeing that stripe right there, but this is all associated with this frontal system that's working its way through the region. Not exactly a clear-cut front, but it's basically this line right here, this boundary, really providing a lifting mechanism to our area. But the golden question, usually with these events, there's always one golden question. How much moisture do we have in the atmosphere? Because if it's dry at the surface, a lot of this does dissolve before it ever reaches us. It's a realistic expectation as well as we get into our Saturday, and something we're paying attention to behind the scenes. But as of right now, I think a couple of showers are definitely possible. Not exactly going to be impactful, but a few drops here and there. Especially as we get more towards our Saturday afternoon. You can see a lot of this more light in the morning time, but by the afternoon, some heavier stuff kicks into the region. Again, this is our more ambitious model, or strike model, but at least kicking in a few of those heavier showers. This stripe really extending towards Greenville and Oxford by 3 o'clock p.m. So if you're out in the Grove getting those pregame festivities in, might need the rain gear on standby too. And those continue into 6 p.m. as well. This I'm not exactly believing as much. Those widespread showers and maybe even a few rumbles of thunder, not exactly verifying in what our other models are saying, but I do agree with at least a few isolated showers moving through the region as they work their way through North Mississippi and on into North Alabama, into those overnight hours as we head into our Sunday. High temperatures Saturday with all the moisture that it's forecasting. Wouldn't be surprised if this was pulled back just a bit. Currently tracking 63 Water Valley, same thing New Albany, and 61 towards Red Bay. Could be upper 50s for some parts if those rain chances really do climb, so we're paying attention to that in more detail. But as of right now, I would go ahead and factor in a few light showers. First play, 54 degrees as Mississippi State travels to Fayetteville, Arkansas to take on the Razorbacks. 52 by halftime and 45 towards that final snap. Limited moisture in the air could result in a few light showers, so Bulldogs traveling, have that rain gear ready. And this is one that the Bulldogs desperately need if we're going to make a bowl game. I have faith, though. Lebby and Shapen, I think you guys can get it back on track, but if you want to throw in Kamario Taylor, not going to complain about that. South Carolina traveling to Oxford to take on the Ole Miss Rebels. I mentioned that could be dealing with a few pop-up showers. Kickoff is at 6 p.m. and you see 20% first play, 10% halftime, and 10% by that final snap. Potential is there. But will it verify? We'll know more at 10 o'clock tonight once we get those latest model runs. As short-range model runs are really coming in right now for our Saturday forecast. So make sure to tune in tonight, and we'll keep you updated on those rain chances and how things have shifted from what we're talking about right now. 57 degrees first play, though, 50 towards that final snap. That moisture keeping things relatively mild, at least more mild than where we'll sit at tomorrow morning. But looking at that 7-day forecast, 39 degrees to start the day. Some areas even lower than that. 59 by noon and 64 towards our Friday afternoon. Keeping that forecast going, you can see that those temperatures continue to remain pretty cool for those mornings and pretty warm towards the afternoons. 40 jumping to 63 for our Saturday, that 20% chance. Almost wanted to go about 15 to 20% because of those showers. I'm not exactly a full believer yet, but it's convincing me more and more, and we'll know more detail and more confidence tonight at 10. 39 degrees back on Monday once that front fully clears our area and warming us up nicely into our Monday forecast, at least by the Monday afternoon. And that gradual warming trend continues into next week. Tuesday, 68 degrees, Wednesday, 70, and Thursday, 71. So things are trending back to normal, and that means more of our fall-like pattern. So if you're not fully ready for winter just yet, and this is too close to winter for you, things do trend in the right direction for you. A little something to look forward to, but at least it's dry, and that's what we can definitely take. Sunny skies will be in the forecast, so we can get out there, do what we need to do outside, and and do what we got to do for sure. So coming up here in the next 60, what are we going to be discussing? Well, we're going to have a full breakdown of that atmospheric analysis for what's taking place this weekend with some of our long-range model runs and some of the upper air analysis. So some of the sciencey stuff behind what we're watching in regards to making this forecast. So stay tuned here, Mississippi Live Weather at 6, as we break that down in full detail after the break.
Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. Prediabetes does. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test today. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/team up.
Well, welcome back to the Room to Room Weather Center. We are tracking those dry conditions once again, but we're not fully out of the woods when it comes to moisture. This is a look at Thursday around 7 o'clock at what we'd call the jet stream, or that upper air loft. You can see a lot of that northwest flow cycling in that drier and cooler air to our area here in North Mississippi, and that low pressure center that provided a lot of that moisture throughout this week, now out there towards the northeast, away from us, no longer an issue. Let's track that forecast heading into our Friday evening, and of course you do see that pattern kind of shift just a bit, us reaching a little bit of a lull, but we do have that little bit of a frontal system developing out there towards Minnesota that could have this front extend off of it and produce a little bit more of those showers. So we're basically in this lull right now, a little bit of a high pressure system, not a strong one, but enough of one to keep us with those dry conditions for Halloween. Let's go ahead and track that forecast into our Saturday, and what you see right here is, that, of course, that trough developed. This is Saturday evening, and a very defined trough at that. That low pressure center going to be around Chicago, just north of the Illinois area, and that front extending well into Arkansas, and this is what's verifying a little bit more that those rain chances will take place, because this defined trough is in place for our Saturday. And you do get a little bit of those reds showing up, and that's kind of our lift in the atmosphere, and that's going to allow for some of those showers, potentially even a thunderstorm, take place, but nothing severe is expected to happen. We're not exactly in that environment. So fortunately, it'll stay calm, but at least giving us a little bit of that additional moisture. We expand things out, and you can see that low works its way right through the region before, drying us up on the back end. So Sunday staying much drier, and that is something we can look forward to beyond the showers. Unfortunately, just has potential on Saturday for a few of those showers to pop up. And then we really get into this dry pattern moving more into our Monday. You can see by Monday afternoon, this high pressure starts to move into the region. Northwest flow once again, so that's why temperatures will be very similar Monday morning to what they'll be tomorrow morning. So we're not done with the cold air just yet. We do get a couple more days. But as that high pressure builds further into the region, that's where we'll see some drier conditions push in place, and potentially even warmer conditions push in place as that pattern kind of shifts just a bit. So we'll be in this ridging pattern for a little bit longer there throughout our Tuesday, and then on into the rest of our week as we stay dry. So day planner tonight, dry conditions still in place, but a cold forecast for tomorrow morning. Layer up. If that's the one message you get from tonight's show, layer up, layer up, layer up. You're going to want to, as you head out the door tomorrow morning, go ahead and turn that heat on as well. We're going to be talking about some cold temperatures tomorrow morning. So if you have not turned the heat on just yet, 39 degrees, that should be enough of a threshold to where you turn it on. We've had ours on since it reached like the mid 50s. So ours is already cranked and going. 8 p.m., 49 degrees, 4 p.m., 10 p.m., 45 degrees, and then midnight, 43 degrees. Things getting colder towards tomorrow morning, but dry conditions remain in place. So this wraps it up. Again, a calm forecast for right now, but I hope you guys stay warm tomorrow morning. We'll be back here tonight at 10 to walk through the latest on those rain chances for our Saturday. Limited right now. Could they be raised or could they be lessened? We'll take a look at that in full detail here at 10 o'clock. iOS and Android, make sure to download the latest version of the Mississippi Live Weather app today. And again, a big thank you to everyone who has supported us on this journey. It's been a great time, 2 days away from our 4-month anniversary, and cannot believe what all we've been able to accomplish with you guys here in North Mississippi. Live shows tonight at 10, like I mentioned, but our morning show is always readily available at 6:37 and 7:30 with meteorologist Maggie McCauley, and I can assure you of this. She will have a hot cup of coffee and probably a couple layers on, even inside. And I think you guys should as well, because it is going to be that cold of a forecast. We'll see you there bright and early, but we hope that we see you back here tonight at 10. You guys have a great evening until then. And shout out Northeast in their final game. We'll give you guys a big old Go Tigers.
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
You wonder how they're going to experience the real world in real safety, where all kids are welcome and everyone has a path forward to new skills, advancement, leadership, something they will carry with them the rest of their lives.